he's vetting.
You will not get roped into the cartels that have bedeviled the water sector. If you have been taken through the State Department of Irrigation and the construction of those mega dams, from Badasa to Ma Dam, they're all riddled with corruption. What can you tell the people of Kenya, and more so the young people of Kenya, in relation to where you stand today and the position you'll take in the fight against corruption in the development of water resources in the country?
Thank you, Speaker. In response to Honorable Ichungu's question on the fact that I am about to face cartels and corruption, I will put my stand public. I have diligently served in my previous positions. I have held transparency, accountability, and my firm stand on corruption is, as you've said, I come as a clean slate. I'm not beholden to anyone. I am not shackled or tell that to anyone. And I think this is my personal opinion. Corruption is a cancer in the society. We have to root it out one way or the other. And if my nomination is approved by this House, I will engage in my duties, bracing and embracing integrity, honesty, and accountability to lead from the front. And if there are couplets, and I would expect the same from state officers under my mandate in the ministry. And if any of them is found capable of this, I understand we are a constitutionally bound country, and I will let the agents that deal with corruption, that is the EACC and other investigative bodies, take their course, and the law should be followed to the latter. Thank you, sir.
Nelson.
You come into the cabinet as the face of the young people. I'd like to know how you intend to use your ministry to create employment, because the biggest problem that we have in the country at the moment is youth unemployment. I want to hear that. And what innovations will you be proposing in the cabinet to make sure that the young people of this country have opportunities to be employed?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. I would like to respond to Honorable Nelson on youth employment. 75% of Kenya's economy is driven by agriculture. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that the young people are advocating for services. I am not naive, and I will appreciate that. On youth employment, the ministry as a State Department of Irrigation. Irrigation is mandated to harvest, store water. It is mandated to reclaim lands for productivity. And it is also mandated to increase the acreage of irrigation in the country. If approved by this House, I will first of all start by sensitization. We need as a country to appreciate that agriculture is not a by the way. It is a profession in itself. It is an economic activity that generates income to all of us. The young people, we need to understand that since high school, I would work with other ministries, such as the Ministry of Education, that projects such as micro irrigation that the ministry is rolling out, whereby we sink boreholes, pump the water to an elevated tank, and give the opportunity to clubs like 4K clubs to irrigate land for subsistence farming. Those activities are being coordinated with agriculture teachers to inculcate that and train the young people, who I understand approximately 800,000 to 500,000 young people are getting out of tertiary institutions. If they have this prior knowledge, and when they come out, I would advocate for private entrepreneurs to further these skills acquired at school level, while the ministry's job would be to provide water for irrigation. On innovation, we as a country, we have to embrace the fact that technology is changing every day. Changes in technology comes with new ideas, brighter and better ways to do activities. For example, in the ministry, I have been involved in water service providers distribution networks. These networks, most of them are people depend on memory to remember where the existing lines were, how they were done, when they were done. So I would encourage innovation in activities such as modeling, which will empower and employ young people in these water service providers to forego and to eliminate dependence on people's memory. Technicians depend on memory to tell you where the pipeline is. Smart meters in these WSPs, where these meters are GSM enabled, creating more opportunities for the youth. And if I find an opportunity to sit in the cabinet as approved by this house, I would also be a champion to developing policies, not only in my ministry, but in other ministries that include and take care of public participation, especially the young people, inclusivity, and that their opinions are heard and they find the final decision or the final policy that is adopted as a country accommodates their issues.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Naisula.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Muga, my question is, if you are found suitable by this committee and the National Assembly to be the CS of water, sanitation and irrigation, how will you balance the thin line between completion of existing and ongoing projects and starting new ones? And you should just have in mind, if approved, these members of parliament and many others who are not here will be knocking your door, saying there's this project in my constituency, and I want to know whether you'll also be intimidated. Some of these members who are third-timers, fourth-timers, older than you, bigger than you. Please, Kenyans would like to know how you'll be dealing with that. Then the second question is, I want to pick your thought on the many water agencies we have in this country. We have them in Regional Development Authority, we have some under the Ministry of Water, and what purpose they serve. You know, they're all serving the same communities. We're giving funds to a certain regional development body. We're giving another one to a water agency. The money for development is lesser than the recurrent expenditure. I want to pick your thoughts whether that is a prudent use of resources for us as a country.
Hold, Eric will take another one. Posing.
Thank you, Speaker. For the nominee, I don't know whether you know what you are almost, should you be approved, where you're going, what the kind of industry you're going in. And maybe to help Honorable Chair and Chairman and Speaker, two things. One, there are dams which are already built, and some of them are 50% in this country, big dams. Some of them 50%, some of them 60%, 70% in terms of completion. And an example is one which is in my county. As an example, there are many in this country, but I'll give you one example, which is Muruny Dam. which costed about like 10 billion Kenya money, but it's not complete. Now with the austerity measures or finance bill having been rejected, and many debate about now where we're going to get money, what will be your proposal on how to deal with that? Because PPP, which we suggested, is actually a future dams. But there are dams which are almost 80-90% complete, which are going to stall. And I hope you know what it means if a project is stalling like that. It means the contractor will be out of the ground, or is already out of the ground anyway, and then he's going to, whatever is asking government, that's accumulating interest. So we will end up paying, rather than now paying 10 billion, we might do 20 billion. So what we do about that? Number two, there is a cancer which many Kenyans don't know. And I want to tell you, nominee, should you be appointed, please make sure, take care of this. From audit perspective, we have realized that as a country, there are again so many dams which are built using loans, right, from outside this country, from developing agencies or banks and so on. And that loan, MOGA, is being paid by National Treasury as exchequer, which means from our taxes. And those Kenyans who are paying those taxes, for example, are not even enjoying that water. So there's been a serious debate that even those agencies which run this water, those now regional agencies, they don't pay. So National Treasury ends up mobbing out taxes to pay for the loan about those projects. Therefore, there was a proposal, MOGA, there was a proposal in the discussion to say, why don't we charge a levy from the waters that we used to build using these loans, so that then National Treasury can build that loan. What will be your opinion as you come in? Will you agree with that opinion? And if you don't agree, what will be the future? Will we pay taxes on water?
Too long, Posing. You have made your point.
Is it too long?
Yes.
I thought I was building the point so that they can understand. Sometimes, Honorable Speaker...
You've made the point.
Yes, but sometimes we also help them to get knowledge. It's true.
Okay.
And there's a reason why we are in this committee chair. There's a reason.
You've got the question. Start with Naisula, go to Posing.
Thank you, Speaker. If I may respond to Honorable Naisula's question on the lean line between completion of projects and starting new projects. As I initially stated, I am well aware of our austerity measures. However, projects that have been started have already, Kenyans and the taxpayer has already sunk money in these projects. Honorable Naisula, through the Speaker, my target would first of all to complete these projects and ensure that Kenyans get value for their money. How do they get value for their money? Through connections. The only proof that we are truly working as a country towards achievement of Vision 2030 of 100% water connectivity is by completing the projects and actually having connections to Kenyans. I agree it's a thin line between, because the House members may want new projects in their areas. And I would like to be reasonable. And we'll ask the Speaker, the same matter might come to your House again, to protect me, because members, Kenyans have already spent money on old projects that are not helping anyone. Unless we complete this, then we'll have a chain of incomplete projects throughout the country. And the Vision 2030, and well aware that water is one of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, we will not achieve that by 2030. The second question from Honorable Naisula through the Speaker was on my thoughts on the many water agencies we have in this country. Our constitution is very clear, and the Water Act 2016, on the establishment of institutions that are required to man and manage the water affairs of the country. In case there is need to review this, I will be open to advisement through, of course, consultation, because I'm a team player, and wide research to see whether we can channel that to a centralized system that is easier to monitor and save the recurrent expenditure that Honorable Nisula is worried about.
Will members intimidate you?
If I may answer the question, Honorable Speaker, I think don't look at the size and think you can easily intimidate me. So I'm comfortable in my shoes. I think I have proven that for many years that I've lived. Thank you. Or want to answer? Honorable Koseng, through the Speaker, I would like to make it clear that I'm well aware of his dam. He has been vocal about this for many sessions in the House and in the previous, my predecessor, who was vetted on nominee on water. And I understand that his dam is approximately 50% complete. He has stated that almost 10 billion Kenya shillings have been sunk into the project. And now we are facing austerity measures, and this dam was not one of the PPP projects. And I'm also aware, as he said, of the costs that incur when a contractor stops work, claims that come, that are expensive to the exchequer. I would like to promise Honorable Kosing, if this House approves me, maybe I'll take him exactly to his dam, as I discuss and get facts on exactly the status of that dam, and not only that dam, or other dams that are being financed by the national government, the exchequer, prepare a report on the same, and if our finances are not adequate, I will come to this House again and table my case to ensure that we don't have hanging projects, as I said. His second question was on loans that were taken by water works development agencies that are being serviced by the exchequer. I am well aware that the Ministry, Department of Water and Sanitation, is approximately, has a loan of approximately 225 billion. This came up in the sense that projects were done, and water being a devolved function, these projects were handed over to county governments through water service providers. I have been in this industry with water service providers for a long time. Now, the status is the water service providers, most of them don't break even in their collection during billing. So there's no money remittance to the water development works that should trickle back to repayment of these loans. I can promise you, if this House approves my nomination, I will work to strengthen our water service providers' institutions. I understand, and I am well aware, it is a burden to the exchequer, and we will work to ensure that these water service providers reduce their non-debit water, increase their billing, increase their last mile connectivity. As I said, last mile connectivity is the activity or projects that bring value to Kenyans. And through that, when our institutions become semi-autonomous, we can generate enough revenue to help in payment of these loans. Otherwise, I will have to consult with the National Treasury and also the task force established by the President on debt restructuring. Thank you.
Vicaria.
Thank you very much, Chair. Nothing much on the questionnaire that you did fill in. You have indicated you are a director in JAFEC Limited Company. Does it deal in water and sanitation issues? If yes, then how are you going to address, as per bullet 26, the conflict of interest potential conflict of interest? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. If I can address the question from Honorable Gikaria, I understand the responsibilities of this office if approved by this honorable committee. And yes, JAFEC is a group of like-minded engineers, very bright, to be honest. And if approved by this house, I will have to take a step back from that. Under the conflict of interest, as I said earlier, I have given my word that
I think that what it is that it doesn't mean you have to pull back. It's just that if that company ever gets a contract where you have influence, you declare a conflict of interest. Then at that time, the decision-making process can be that, don't give it to my company, or that it is known so that you have no hand in it. So don't tie yourself. Honorable Gikaria is getting you into trouble.
No,
Thank you.
I appreciate what you have indicated, because what I expected is that he will declare his interest and maybe vacate.
Eric, be very concise. He asked, are you a director of this company?
Yes.
yes.
Does it deal in the water sector? If the answer is yes, then you go to the next issue.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So to confirm, I'm a director in that company. The company deals in water, sanitation, buildings, etc.
Okay. Robert Mbui, you'll pass. Owen?
Looking at your CV, Mr. Muga, our nominee, I see that you have done extensive work in Kilifi. Thank you very much for that kind of work. I'm a young person, not young really, but I want to ask you this question specifically, that you understand that environment. Water from Kilifi comes from Baricho. Baricho is on the lower side. For water to come to Mombasa, the water needs to go up. So this is one of the unique cases in Kenya where you have water has to go up instead of gravity. The cost of electricity there is exorbitant, is very, very high. And the people of the coast actually have issues with power that is used for production of water. Now, the water is a constitutional right, but the cost of producing that water is very, very high, and therefore leading to high electricity bills with Kenya Power, and sometimes water is disconnected because of very high. What would be your solution to solve that problem, especially for the whole of coast region, where water has to be generated, has to be pumped up using electricity? What is your practical solution to that problem?
Hold, Eric. Yes, Murugara.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. One question. Eric, Kenyans have waited for water for the last 60 years with abated breath. Millions of households everywhere are waiting for water. And they now look upon you, if approved by this house, to actually give them water. What is your word to them? And what should be their expectation from you as a young, qualified engineer in water, on whom they will place a lot of reliance as far as water is concerned?
Thank you, Speaker. In response to Honorable Owen's question, first of all, I will acknowledge that I've even met you. I've worked extensively in the water distribution network in Kilifi. And the challenge is you get water from Baricho, well fields, where water is pumped to Gutatu in North Mainland. This is in Mombasa. And that is a long stretch. Unfortunately, the coast region is relatively flat. So flow by gravity becomes a little bit a challenge. but your solution is in Mwache Dam, which is being built in Kwale. So I know the rationing there is almost twice. Water comes on Friday and Mondays. And to solve your problem, unless we sink boreholes in Kilifi, then you don't have an active river, or think of desalination, which is a relatively expensive way of doing it. So once Mwache comes in and water is supplied to Mombasa and the Kwale County, your rationing problems will reduce, because that water will come up to Mtwapa, serve Kilifi, and then Malindi. So, and your power expenses will be alleviated a little bit. That's being pragmatic to this committee.
Yes, Murugara's question.
Kenyans have waited for many years, Honorable, through the Speaker, Honorable Murugara, as we've said. The ministry has a vision of ensuring 100% connectivity to all Kenyans by 2030. This also agrees with the Africa Water Agenda 2063. My word to Kenyans is, I will do all I can. I will zero mostly on water that is not accounted for, water that is abstracted but does not get to the end user. In Kenya right now, that percentage stands at about 45%. That is water that does not have an economic impact directly to the water service providers, and also to Kenyans. If we at least reduce that, and also sensitize Kenyans that it is a sole responsibility of every Kenyan to conserve the little that I have. Conservation is key for our renewable sources. That is my commitment to the people of Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll introduce myself. I was out, I had gone for mosque. My name is Abdul Rahim Dawood, MP for North Imenti, and I probably, Engineer Muga was born in the same hospital I was born in Maua General Hospital. But I will ask my question.
At different times.
At different times, yes. A span of more than 25, 30 years. He's like my son. Ms. Engineer, you know, I'm hearing dams being built everywhere. But in our region, we've been told about the Kianjuri Dam, which will take water up to Tharaka. Not just Meru County, it will go up to Tharaka, maybe even Embu. I want to know, once you get in, you're talking about the existing which are there. If you come to do ours, will it be in this lifetime or maybe another lifetime? Second, there is a project which has been ongoing in Meru, sanitation, because sanitation is your forte. Sanitation, we've got Meru sewage plant, which has been built for the last 5 years, and it is never being completed. We need sewage everywhere in this country, plants. We need to get it out of towns. What do you envisage to do when you're there? And the last one is, you have talked about boreholes. I don't know if you're aware, in Nairobi, there are 6,000 boreholes. Only 2,000 are licensed. 4,000 boreholes are not licensed. Is borehole the way to go to get water when the aquifers are already dry? So how would you approach that, and how are you going to control it? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mary Amasa, let's take the next one.
Through the chairman, I have just one simple question to the nominee. From my experience in service to wananchi, I realized that we have so many water facilities, boreholes that have been drilled over the years, because there was even a time NGCDF also used to drill boreholes. But there's a problem with the sustainability in terms of maintenance, in terms of repairs.
You'll go to an area, you ask wananchi whether they have water, they say we don't have water. You ask them, have you ever, there's no borehole that has ever been drilled here. There are two, but they're all not functioning. So my simple question, as if approved as the nominee for Minister of Water, what are your plans? What interventions? Because I think there's need for a structured interventions on how to maintain and sustain this repair and maintenance across the country where these boreholes have been drilled. Thank you.
Nominee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll start with Honorable Dawood's question on Kiunjuri Dam. Honorable Dawood, I appreciate your concern about dams in Meru. I also come from Meru. There are not many. In this regard, as you've correctly pointed that my target would be first to complete the ongoing projects, I will look at, we have a Kenya National Water Master Plan. I will review. These dams are not done because they have to be done. They are done on need basis. So if there are regions that are more deserving, in the spirit of integrity, we will do the right thing. And as you said...
Point of order.
Yes.
Point of order, Speaker.
Yes, Dawood.
The nominee, although he comes from my county, and he's aware of, maybe he's lived out of Meru for long, and he says they will prioritize where there is a need. Honorable Murugara's constituency and his county, there is a big need. Even in my constituency, there is a big need. So let us not be put in the ones who are satisfied. We are not satisfied.
Go ahead.
Thank you for that, Honorable Dawood. I'm not saying that you are satisfied. Let me clarify myself through the chair, through the speaker. I'm well aware of regions in Meru, like Tharaka, and I am well aware the president the other day commissioned Dhuchi Dam. Yes, it's someplace in Tharaka. Yes, yes. So, if we look at the master plan, the National Water Master Plan, and which I have not, I've lived in Meru my entire life, first of all, to clarify that. So I am not a stranger to those lands, and even Honorable Muragara's region. All I can promise you is that we will look at the needs of Kenyans and also serve them on need basis. If your region is truly deserving of that, Honorable Muragara and Honorable Dawood, your time shall come. The next question was sanitation in Meru. I am aware of that project that has taken long to be completed. I don't have the details right now, but I can assure Honorable Dawood that I'll find out and get back to you. Through the chair, the speaker, Honorable Emase, your question was on sustainability of operations and maintenance. I would like to pronounce myself that operations and maintenance is mostly the responsibility of the WSP, unless you have privately owned facilities. For this to happen, it's a revenue problem. I have pronounced myself before this honorable committee that I am targeting to reduce non-revenue water from a bigger percentage, which is currently at 45, and bring it to less than 20, to allow the WSPs have adequate revenue to undertake operations and maintenance. Secondly, uptake of technology will play a vital role through the speaker in ensuring that operations and maintenance are minimized in such that if all our water facilities are well mapped in a centralized program, part of the innovation I was talking about, it is easier to pinpoint the year when they were built and to pinpoint when their time comes for repairs and maintenance. I hope I address your question, Honorable Massey. There was a question, Honorable Speaker, by Honorable Dawood on boreholes in Nairobi, where you noted there was an article circulating that talked of 6,000 boreholes in Nairobi, and there's a possibility of Nairobi taps running dry. I am aware that regulation of sinking boreholes and approvals are given by the Water Resources Authority. However, the Water Resources Authority, and like most of our government institutions, are underfunded, and the resources in terms of personnel is minimal. My solution to this problem is, first of all, empower our institutions with the right resources, with the right personnel, and with people of merit. Meritocracy should be a key conversation in the ministry. Secondly, our boreholes could also be running dry because of their close proximity. There are provisions in design on the distance in between one borehole to the other because of recharge time. And also, Nairobi is every day turning into a concrete jungle. I will work in partnership with departments of planning in the county governments and have something we call detention and retention ponds, to the point that when it rains, the water Okay.
Go on.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thought you were interjecting, sorry. Retention and detention pods are recharge areas for aquifers. You realize when it rains in Nairobi, our roofs direct the water to the drains. And the water flows very fast past at the river, and it's gone. There's no seepage. So detention and detention dams are some of the ideas I would like to bring to the ministry, whereby, working in conjunction with county governments, we have parks specifically to hold that runoff.
In fact, Eric, under Schedule 4 of the Constitution, you are empowered to formulate policy for the country for protection of water, securing sufficient residual water, hydraulic engineering, and the safety of dams. So you have a duty even to guide counties. What Dawood is saying is true. In Nairobi, boreholes some are even 50 meters apart, if even less, everywhere.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that support. And Honorable Dawood, this is not a theory. I have been to Israel to benchmark on the same. So this can happen.
Amisi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to the Honorable Nominee, I understood that you said you are 30 years of age. So in the demographic bracket, it puts you at the millennial, just like me. I'm a millennial. Yes, he's actually a millennial.
Yeah, he's a millennial.
The last of millennial, yeah.
He's a millennial.
I think I belong in the middle of the millennial. Yeah, so you are basically closer. You are the closest the Gen Zs can come to. And that puts you like a control experiment in the management of the nation. A point whereby if you succeed, the young people feels that, yes, we can do it, one of our own did it. And if you fail,